Hey Jimmy.
Hello, how's it going, man?
Yep, just doing a bit of fixing. Let me just. Mohan's also
Nice
here.
background you got there. Very, very cinematographic.
Yeah, just trying to keep up. I think even Jimmy also has a good one. Numa the same.
Found a
Mohan's.
mode.
Yeah. Mohan is off camera today, but hopefully the audio is fine from his end.
I'm guessing
Oh,
Mohan's traveling.
Mohan, is audio fine from your end? Mic check.
Where are you calling from? You in Bangalore as well?
Yep, Bangalore.
Nice. And Mohan is the Mr. Worldwide. Always traveling to grow Decharge.
Hey guys, yeah. Right now I'm on like travel.
Nice, man.
where you
Excited for
traveling to, bro?
this.
I'm actually my network is a little bit bad. That's why I'm not able to even turn the video on. Let's see if the network's better, then I'll try to switch it on. But
Okay.
yeah, nomadic life for the win.
Yeah, great.
Don't worry about it, man.
So we are
Awesome
just.
guys, let's do this. Good to see you both.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Likewise.
too, man. Yeah, should we kick it off?
Yes, we
This
kick
is
off
we're live on YouTube.
and extreme as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, yeah, welcome guys to this AMA. Our community has been super excited to get the perspective of the founders, get to know the business from the founder perspective. Um, it's honestly been awesome so far working with you guys and building up all the marketing and collaborating on the videos. It's been epic. How's it been for you guys so far?
Yeah, it's been excellent. I mean, like 50% of the pool already filled. There is fantastic results coming in through, and yeah, I think we have got like a few very good community questions come so far. Uh,
Yeah,
Both of us, and I think all four of us are excited to kind of answer them one by one. And I think we can also send it to our community to get them on board.
Yeah, and
yeah,
first,
absolutely.
just to take a step back and realize, like, I only recently realized, Mohan, that we met in Singapore Breakpoint 2 years
Yes,
ago, and I
yes,
saw in the chat a picture, and it's because you had something about like charging the future, and you were talking about SpaceX and so on, and then meeting a doctor there in Vietnam as well. So it's incredible. After 2 years of the first conversation, we're here, halfway
yes.
funded in Project Surya. So really cool
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember meeting Mohan in Malaysia when I went to a little introductory workshop Mohan was leading on introducing people to the community owned charging network, right? And he was showcasing this awesome battery in this little room. But yeah, fast forward a few years, you guys raised 2.5 million in funding. You've deployed thousands of charging points all around the world. And at the same time, us at ReFi Hub focusing on finding this top performing infrastructure to get, to host on our platform. So yeah, we've always had you guys on the radar, man. So we're
I
excited
really
to
appreciate.
really to make this happen. But just to kick it off, what has been the most memorable part of running the business for you guys? Because you've been running for 4 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. Doc, do you want to go first or you want me to go
Oh
first?
yeah, I can start. Yeah, I think first shout out to the ReFi Hub team. I think the ReFi as a narrative itself, I was kind of warming up to it like for almost like 2 3 years now. I would gladly say this is the best team that we have come across so far. There's a lot of contributors, content writers, and Anuma is really fantastic. I think we remember meeting at Malaysia's Solana Summit as well. Ever since then, I think it's been a really good. Our teams have been like really great experience working together. I think everyone has been like really bullish on this entire collab. We can certainly say this is one of our best collaborations so far.
Absolutely, man. Fills my heart to hear that. So
Yeah,
proud.
yeah, great guys. Same here. Same shout out to you both. I also remember meeting few years ago. Noah, first time we met, learned about you and what you do. I was very impressed, and it was in Malaysia. Yes, in Kuala Lumpur when we are doing that event. and we've always been discussing on the right time. I said, yeah, we were discussing it. Yeah, let's do it at the right time to benefit the right
Yeah.
community. And then me and Prakash have discussed this multiple times. And when we came up with one of my best projects yet, we thought, no, nothing better than working with ReFi, and of course you guys, because it goes way back, right? I mean, we've been in this talking about this for years now. But
Yeah.
in terms of memorable aspects, when you talk about Decharge, I hope I got this right. Like you also asked about the memorable aspects of Decharge in this journey, right?
Yeah, or in your journey or
Yeah,
your experience
yeah, yeah.
leading this
Yeah.
business.
I Over the last 4 years, there are multiple really memorable things that happened. I think one of the best, and I'll just cover them very quickly, just so that it adds more personalized approach to this whole conversation from my perspective. Because first, I think most memorable thing that I'm thrilled is because we've been watching it go from like 10 to 15 chargers way early to almost 1,000 chargers now across the world. So that
Wow.
has been like a really big, uh, something really big on our mind. Like, when we are getting to 5,000 really soon. So I hope we get there together. And there was another like few instances that really stay with you, especially when you're building it for people, when you're building it for the community. Uh, what really stuck with us is in Bangalore or in some other place, we had shop owners and some fleet operators come up and of owning a community based charger, right? And they own the network,
Mm.
and it's really interesting to see people look at Decharge as their own network rather than some third party that's providing this service, because that is a defining factor. Whenever that happens, it really makes it worth it. All the hard work just disappears. And one more very interesting memory that I have is when one of the riders, I remember, and when they recorded that, they shared this testimonial saying that using a charger gave them a free meal and 1 day's wages worth of power. And they sent it to me saying that, hey, it's great. That human impact thing a few months ago really kind of hit me hard and stayed with me. I think that beats any other number.
Yeah.
And yeah, global expansion again. When we moved first, set up our first chargers in Southeast Asia and US. These are all those memories that make it extra special. But I'm sure the best of them are yet to be made.
Yeah. Love that, man. Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that the impact at the individual level, that's what we really need to count, right?
yeah. It really changed my perspective, though. Like I was so moved. Like I was thrilled beyond measure. And I thought this is what we're building it for, and we just have to be relentlessly doing it. Imagine thousands of people saying, they're getting rewards and they're getting like free power and changing lives. What else do you want? I'm just really happy doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing for us to be able to like facilitate such a unique opportunity now into exactly what you're describing, and would love to go there to Bangalore and see how Project Surya just comes to life.
Absolutely.
Um, and yeah, keen
Yeah,
to jump into Surya as well, like get to know
absolutely.
your
Yeah.
Let's get into that. So I think
Yeah.
the community is well aware about Project Surya. We're deploying a total of 19 chargers, which is 15 beast chargers, 4 fast chargers, which is in a very top location in Bangalore. Why this location, guys? Besides of it being the hub, your own hub where you guys are based, the place where you most know about. Why are we choosing this location?
I'll take this question very quickly. I'll keep it very simple for everyone to understand. Is Surya
Slight audio issues.
accelerating the pace that is? Can
your
you hear me?
connection seems to be cutting off. Yeah,
A little bit. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
better.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks, guys. So I'm just saying that the EV adoption, especially in this location, is accelerating at an unprecedented pace. It's extremely fast, but the highways are really underserved for charging infrastructure. Right, the demand for EV charging is actually much higher and rising faster than the infrastructure itself. So that's why we made this critical decision to set these charging hubs at key corridor, because this connects highway traffic routes that also have exits into the city and outside the city. So it's very easy for people coming in and out of the city, and also on key hubs, right? Literally, there are millions of vehicles going through this particular location intersection per year. That gives us a very, very captive audience, and it's prime for fast charger hubs. It's absolutely prime. So not just fast charger, even slow chargers, because fleets and logistics fleets, for those people, this is a place where they rest in the evenings. And this place is perfect because it's not in the middle of peak traffic, but it's on the route, so they can stop, charge for 1 2 hours or half an hour, and then move on. It's We cannot find a better location than this. Like, we've really scouted for the best locations.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we can see. You
yeah.
saw in
Just
that
to
video, there's like you were seeing a bit of a snippet in the listing page of all the traffic, all the amount of vehicles, the amount of people walking, and I think you guys mentioned there's 4 locations that are scouted, and you're able to move the charges from each location depending on how the demand fluctuates.
Yeah, just to add on to that, like I think some of the audio was cut off a bit, right? Just to reiterate on that, I think highways is definitely one of the hotspots. They're very close to them, strategic. People always ask why just fast charges, why not slow charges? It's always either one chicken and egg problem, right? I think
Everyone wants the fast chargers.
yeah. In fact, one of our inspiring story was a user interview which we did. This was actually way before the fundraise even happened. We did like there was this user who used a who was driving his EV at a very reputed company. We don't want to discourage them, but he had like very tough difficulty navigating a faster. He stopped at 9 different locations. He kind of gave up. He literally gave up. He actually suffered from range anxiety, and he had to call up the company and they had to arrange for an emergency pickup. Brought it. He had no proper solution of finding a unified solution, right? He installed 5 different tabs, half of them were not working, reliability was an issue. And this thread went really viral. It got like 1 million impressions. We were trying to catch up with him. We tweeted at him. Finally he came back and agreed to do like a user interview. We still have those notes with us, and maybe we'll do like a podcast with him at some point. So he said like he literally explained his problem over a 1 hour period, right? And he was a very mature user. He was tech savvy and all of it, right? And he explained his pain point at each and every. He was like, even if it is a slow charger, he would have really loved to pay even above market price if it got him out of the situation. So that itself was like a direct narrative getting from the user. Then nothing beats that, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you solve that problem for him at a user level, it scales really fast.
Yeah.
That was actually one of our inspiration moment to always like get into ones, even if it's not immediately affordable to us. We wanted to make that impact happen. So that has been an
Okay.
inspiration to make sure this we tackle high density as well as highway routes, both of them, and these kind of locations give us the edge. Uh, yeah, it pretty much answers the next coming question, right? Why Surya locations have an edge? I think combined together, we have really good data points, the traffic score. These are like publicly vetted data, and they have like very good data in terms of visibility, dwell time, and grid access. And proven traffic flows is very, very important. At the end of the day, real world metrics and data is very important, right? And that was the main pitch we also had when we were discussing Italy. Why these locations? We were discussing back and forth for the last couple of months. But yeah, happy to hear your thoughts also as we
I
ran
love
through.
I love that, and like we've talked obviously with a lot of different EV projects. We've done due diligence on a lot of different EV projects, but what really stood out from Decharge and Project Surya and how you guys work is you're really data driven, and it seems like you make a lot of decisions based on not second guessing, but really getting out there in the field, hands on experience. You're starting in areas where you guys kind of live and are based, right? So once we saw the data that you guys have been able to gather and all of the traffic flows and so on, it just makes sense. And I think there's just so much potential here that even the numbers that we spoke about, right, like on the listing page were baselines from the reports, but I think there's so much to play with here and how you guys arrange the EV charging stations, which kind of leads to the second point that I saw a lot of questions about, and I think it's interesting for you guys to also touch a bit more on, which is the use of funds, right? And what people don't maybe is not so clear is that you guys are kind of handling everything here, right? From setting up the EV chargers and developing them to choosing the location to getting the rights of the location. So maybe you can touch more on kind of what this process entails and what the use of funds of the 150,000 being raised for Project Surya will be deployed into.
Yeah, there are two parts to the question, right? I'll let Mohan have a first go. Hopefully, his audio is better now. Yeah, basically, like how does this through? How do you walk through the returns? What is the expected yield, and what is the statistics? What are the market rates? I think, yeah, that'll be like a good starting point, Mohan.
Guys, my audio check again just to make sure that I'm
Yeah,
not cutting off.
A
Yeah.
lot better now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, great. Now,
let's go.
where do you want me to start? Do you want to talk about the ownership aspect, or do you want to talk about the yield and return aspect? Where do you want to start? Because this is a very interesting and exciting topic for everyone listening. So I want to make sure that we give the right information for people to get excited about.
I agree. Let's do it from the top down, like a bit of the ownership first, and then we can
Okay.
go
Yeah,
into a bit more of the numbers.
Okay. So the reason why we wanted to take this route with this project Surya is because there's a really critical opportunity to become something much larger than what we are today, like becoming the fuel station of the future, right? Like you've seen all of this Shell, British Petroleum, all of these things coming up. We're at a very unique space time where we can become one of those, like a really large chain, right? So basis that we took these locations where we wanted to deploy, even if it's a distributed one, own the entire process, right from getting the permissions, owning the electricity connection itself, getting the transformer, owning it on our, so that we can control the costs and then maximize the returns of it, and doing the civil work, doing the branding for Decharge, so that it becomes a community thing. So, and it's also visible on the highway. So it there is a lot that that we are doing here, right? For example, the costs include, like, we own the entire charging infra, we will own the entire electrical, the site design of the entire stuff, we will own the construction and the civil aspects of it, so that we have like clearly marketed parking spaces, traffic management spaces and all that stuff. We also do the entire branding, so the outer branding, the lighting, the signage, all of that stuff, and the entire, of course, the software part of it. So all of this from end to end is what we are overseeing personally.
Wow.
We don't have our own manpower because we are very involved in this project, and we want to make sure that this is a home run, right? This is a home run project already.
yeah.
And from
Yeah,
the
and
yield, yeah, sorry, Numa.
that's what stood out for me, you know, like that you guys really do the end-to-end work, and that's what really gave in with us for Surya and gave us the confidence to jump in, that you guys really know from procuring the right sites to having the right tech to knowing where to localize it and set up all the permits and everything. And I think it's yeah, it's amazing kind of being able to just get a yield from that, having you guys with the level of expertise that you have and the track record that you have, be able to manage A to Z. To me was what gave us kind of the green light to follow through. So really cool stuff there.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And on the touching about the yield stuff, why this whole project is much better, and why we are sure that it's going to beat other real world investments, is because this has like a potential to make up to 60-65% IRR. Like, I'm not even kidding. Of course, my legal will say it's not financial advice, but I'm just going bullish on this. The location that we have, the potential of this project is effing believable. It's really prime placed. The number of kilowatts that we can move every day, hundreds of kilowatts can be moved every day from each charger. Thousands of minutes of charging are flowing through one asset. Basically, we're turning energy directly into yield, right?
Yeah.
Even for a modest utilization, let's say for a dozen vehicles a day, it compounds quickly, and over months it creates such a strong cash flow machine. And with the scaling EV adoption, it's a no brainer for us, right? I mean, if you look at a traditional investment, let's say if you're looking at a real world, some other investment, you might be looking at 8 to 10%. Even a bank does 8 to 12%, maybe like a mutual fund does 14%. Which other project in the world will come out confidently and say, look, I am going to give you like a fixed, like guaranteed this much and then more on top of it? Because this is like, of all the available projects in the world, This is a really high growth domain. EV
Yeah.
charging is really booming. There are really good margins per kilowattage. That's why, and again, coming back to the first, that's why we are owning the entire process so we can really hyper optimize the cost per kilowatt. And then people are always okay to pay a premium. Like if you look at a Tesla charger in Maryland, like if you're doing kilowatt, people are paying up to 50 cents, 48 cents per kilowatt, right? In Europe, let's say if you go to Sweden, people are paying fixed 25 euros or 30 euros for a session. That could be whether it's 20 kilowatts or 50 kilowatts, doesn't matter. So people are okay to pay a premium as long as there's convenience and there's quality, and then there's just a good experience there. And that's exactly what we're building. This is
Yeah.
by far one of the best things that we're going to do. But
Yeah.
I want to lean on to Prakash and then to you guys to get your thoughts as well
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, I think one very important aspect, right? Like managing the expectations is very important, and that's why we have like a very range that we kind of provide. Aside from that, it's also very important at the early stage to show the trust from the community, right? Why
Yeah.
do we do management? Why can't we let the community do all of it? I think that becomes it's an operationally intensive project, right? It's not easy, and managed deployment is not something that's new. A lot of projects actually done that, right? They have like a community-owned infra approach. They have deep in deployers, and what also happens when we are having the feedbacks with all the projects, they also said like sometimes it's not justified to let community do all the work because demand curation is very very important, and EV infra is something that has like inbuilt demand from day one. Supply side incentivization is like very much done. We know how it's done. We know that's a possibility. But having that curation, hands-on experience, and having the transparency to the community is like very, very important. So that's why we have been like very laser focused on that. Even with this, even Project Surya, right? The same philosophy applies. We manage it for you and make sure that it's like kind of very transparent, right from the payouts and all of it. That we like very data driven, all of it. I think the community is going to have a lot of fun when they see the dashboard of utilization which actually happens at these sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that moment.
Yeah, and I think that that links, and you guys, you're in such an interesting position because the more you scale, the more data you're getting, right? Of how are all of these charges performing in different areas, and where are the hotspots, where's the traffic here, and it's kind of a compounding effect, right? The more you're growing, the more data you get, and the more informed decisions you can make. And that's why I think it's such a great timing for Project Surya here, where you guys do have a track record, and I think it would be interesting also for people considering to get involved in Surya to understand a bit of that, like similar charges that you guys have already displaced around Bangalore in the area or in the city town that we are working on for Project Surya. What have the returns been on there? What's the performance been on there? And kind of how do you see this project building on that?
Essentially you're looking at like how what's the past performance of similar charges in the network, right? Like around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, Mon, you want to take that, or I can also start. Then you can continue. Yeah. So yeah, I think a couple of points before we can you can even add more color to it. So the existing highway deployments, right? Most of the highway deployments have like a very high utilization, high consumptions, and they have actually have a break even of like let's say 6 to 8 months. Uh, but that also comes with tremendous infra deployment. They would have done themselves from the start. They would have done like contracts, like much of it is almost like hidden. They say it's 6 to 8 months, but there's a lot of things that it's grounded you have to do. It's not. It's almost like impossible to do unless you're like a big company, right? But that itself is like a huge undertaking itself. But when you look at the data and certain things make it a no-brainer, so, which is why the breakdown is always between the permits and all of it, and making sure it's being used judiciously. And not only that, they don't give it to any random company. They look at your past data, like how do you do it. They only then grant you permission, right? And that's something like very important. Uh, and those are the things we really was very hands-on on making sure the highway deployments are in the market standards, and also goes to show like how do the urban charges differentiate, like not just highway deployments, also how do these other gig workers, commercial fleets. If you look at the country like India or most of Southeast Asia, 70% of the vehicles on the road are like moving to EVs, and that's like very common because EVs are naturally low cost per kilometer. That's why they're switching towards it, and they are kind of suffering from reliable charging infrastructure, which also has like a very grid based approach, right? So those are things that are kind of we kind of really observed how it will function in other chargers, and also like what's the best prudent way to do take it forward. That's why we're very meticulous to do it from top down approach, and we're very transparent in terms of usage of funds and all of it to put together.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know, Mohan is back now.
Yep. Mic check 1 2 3.
Yeah,
We have.
sorry, I was just like dropping on and off.
No worries.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. I think you're
Yeah,
back.
you're audible.
Awesome, man. So yeah, I mean,
So
sorry, Mohan. So anything to add there? We were just talking about like similar performance and historic data that you guys have of similar charges in similar locations.
yeah, uh, we have seen like really great um, performance, and that's why we're so bullish on this, especially urban chargers. Like we're seeing really high throughput. Like I was listening to what Doc was saying earlier. I could hear, but I could not talk. But talking, we're talking about fleets, right? Fleets and gig workers are like a very steady usage of utilization, and which is what we are also prioritizing from a B2B perspective. So it's going to be a B2B2C kind of thing. We just don't open it up to public, but we're also focused on working with fleets to also have like a fixed usage, making sure that we probably don't have like any downtime. That's why we are very bullish about it. But our existing deployments, not on highways, but something like not so prime, are seeing a break even of about 6 to 8 months. Touch wood. I'm not going to say that out there loud and jinx it, but lifetime. If the lifetime is like in a year's time, and imagine breaking even in months time, it's really great. So we are seeing very positive returns in other locations. In fact, looking at that, while this was happening just half an hour ago, just before we started, we had an inquiry from a very large fleet operator from Kenya, Nairobi. They are doing buses and a fleet of buses and trucks, and they want to just partner with the Recharge to set up a very large hub there that will suit all their stuff. So,
Awesome.
I love to see
am I
that
on?
international expansion, man. Full on
Yeah,
worldwide, Mr. Worldwide. um,
our past
Yeah.
chargers and yeah, yeah.
He's like traveling so much. You travel in space, man.
And
I think
Yeah.
you're cutting off again, Mohan.
where did you lose? Where did I lose Kenya?
Those parts we heard.
In yeah.
you said we heard the Kenya part.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that in Mumbai, in Nairobi, and they looked at our
Yeah.
performance and they really liked it, so they want to deploy something in Nairobi as well. So it's that good. I'm giving this example. The other fleets are excited to be a part of it because they've seen the potential of revenue that comes out. I think that answers pretty much a lot by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that I think just goes so naturally into the next question. You know, I think we're all super bullish. We've seen the numbers. There's a lot of numbers on the Decharge listing page on ReFi Hub of the expected hours that you guys project based on previous data that obviously are just projections and can either go to the lower end but also the higher end. And the cost that you anticipate, and therefore the revenue and the numbers that you guys are saying are actually incredible, right? You mentioned 60% IRR if everything goes well and so on, but it's something that got me excited as well. And I think one of the questions that I've seen in the community is that, you know, the yields look amazing. Like what are the risks here? And, you know, realistically everything has a risk, and how are we mitigating that, right? Like, and I guess obviously there's always risks in having less traffic than anticipated. But I think there's a lot to be said in the fact that you guys are able to manage the entire kind of supply flow and supply chain of the project, and really have a lot of hands-on control over what's going on, and taking care of the maintenance and so on. But maybe you can touch a bit more on that, on the risk mitigation in relation to Project Surya, kind of how the assets that are being funded can be used as some form of collateral or hedge, let's say, and just to touch a bit more on that.
Yeah, I can start first, then maybe you can one kind of time. Yeah, I think the break-even data is for the charges, right? Then beyond that, there are other infrastructure costs. Overall, I think the way we are kind of structured the investment opportunity between both of us is right. The deposit is secure with a physical charger asset, which has like a guaranteed yield. The revenues itself are like kind of spooled and supported, also supported by the larger network from Decharge, right? There's always this other trickle down efforts that have like a backup, so they also kind of very contributed to the revenues to make sure we give the best maximized yield possible, and with all the constraints possible, right? We have also given us a bit of time, but there's always a possibility that we could deploy ahead of time, touchwood, because it's the monsoon time, so that's which is why have given it a bit of leeway in terms of payouts. But yeah, I think if all goes well, we could even deploy ahead of time. Those are the
Okay.
best aspects we can kind of commit to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, so what you're saying there is like there's such a big network behind and other charges that you guys are operating that if something were to go wrong, you have the flexibility, let's say, to be able to move things around, no, and be able to make it work within that.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
100%. 100%. 100%. See, for us also, just adding to what Prakash said, and I completely agree. For us also, it's very important for, like as I said multiple times in this conversation, it's very high priority for us to just make this a home run. So we will do everything. We will do everything to make sure uh, this is going to be like.
Got me excited, man. Got me.
We have a huge network. We have other chargers deployed, so we can always guarantee something really amazing out of this.
That's awesome. And yeah, like that was another one of the questions, to be honest. On more like it's a shame we don't have a co-founder Abe here. That's the legal, and obviously you guys within your own legal capacity or knowledge, right? Because there was a lot of work put into this project Surya, a lot of lawyers involved as well to make sure that everything was accurate. But there's questions around the contractual clause of the 100% minimum guarantee, and obviously wanting to get input on that, on how that would come into effect, from whatever can be shared, and you know the legal contracts are all in the listing page, anyone can read them, but just to hear from you guys and share a bit of light on it.
Yeah, yeah. I think the way kind of the
Go-
minimum payout opportunity works. Yeah, yeah. I think your audio is still choppy. I'll take this. Yeah, I think there's, as mentioned, right? As mentioned in the contract, during the lock-in period, there is like a fixed stable rewards that happen. Aside from that, there's always like the steady cash flow, which kind of ramps up as more and more utilization, right? We're also driving additional utilization campaigns and marketing in to drive utilization to the network, right? That's very important. That's also something we take on us. We do everything possible to kind of driving the utilization. It kind of ramps up as, and most of the, this is kind of very much in common pattern with all any supercharger network around the world, right? You start at a very baseline yield, and you also have like as usage keeps ramping up, like people always comes for repeat customers, right? Here the retention is always off for the starts, when it's
Yeah.
like you know you're gonna stop your vehicle at a place for regular pit stops, and you probably have your refreshments at the time. Then it becomes a pattern, right? And it's like the retention is like always high because you kind of solve the customer problem at one point, then they always come back. And this is pretty much in pattern with all of our previous deployments as well. They always come back. Repeat users are form of the larger revenue generating opportunity for a larger network as well. So that's pretty much inconsistent with the philosophy here as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mohan, are you back? Are you...
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. I don't know if you're able to hear me, but I can
Now,
hear
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, so again, me and Doc, we're on the same page talking about the same thing. We make sure that the minimum guarantee. So anyway, all the participants in this pool, whoever is there, they will receive fixed table rewards throughout the course of this. Did you lose me again?
For a little bit. You come and go.
Yeah. So annoying, man. Shit. Okay, so basically, I echo what Dr. Doc said, and most all the participants are guaranteed stable rewards throughout the lifetime of the charger. So that's one. and we mitigate the risk again by saying that we have a lot of partnerships that we set up with fleets and other partners on B2B levels as well, so that we have like a very strong planned ramp up of utilization throughout the lifetime of the charging infra itself. Because the thing is, we are setting it up at a location where there's scarcity. So when there is scarcity, it's bound to be used a lot. Like the demand outperforms supply. Even if we have 10 other chargers by a competitor, there's not enough chargers. There won't be enough chargers even if we have like four of these same setup in the same location as we are. It's still not enough. So the demand is so high that it is guaranteed. It's pretty much guaranteed to be like a really really good outcome. I mean, I can't stress on this enough. So I think uh, as a team that's doing it, it's not just the team at Decharge, and it's not just the team at ReFi Hub. Even the people who are participating in coming into this project through ReFi Hub and investing money, we also look at them as a part of the team, right? If we're doing it, we're doing it together,
Yeah,
right? We make sure that all of
of
us
course.
are winning in this. There's no one loser. Uh, and when we do this, we want the best for the entire set of people, right? And it's usually in projects like this, there's a waiting time. Like it takes 2 years or 3 years to really settle down and start making money. The opportunity that we are kind of now is because it's a really really good placement, really big opportunity. The timing is perfect, and all of the B2Bs are moving into electric right now at a really rapid pace. The sales of electric vehicles are off the roof, especially in Bangalore. There is like a
Yeah.
15% month on month growth for electric vehicle purchases. It's really that much. So yeah, this can't go wrong. But otherwise, also if you work together on this, I think it's going to be like a really amazing outcome. I'm really confident.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I've seen the numbers. I've seen the excitement from you guys as well, and the different projects you've released. So I think Surya is going to be a big bang, man.
Yeah.
And also what gets me excited is, can you just touch a bit on the dashboard? So people that invest into Project Surya, can you touch on the traceability, like the level of transparency that you guys have really reached to be able to actually, as an investor, as a user, as a community member, of Project Surya, be able to trace the amount of charging hours, being able to trace all of this data that you guys are picking up, right, in the decentralized network, from the
Yes,
chargers.
yeah. Talk. I'll take this while my network is still good. It's just because it goes away. But Jimmy, it's a very good question. In fact, if I were in the community's perspective or outside of this ecosystem, I would have this as my primary question, saying that how do I know that I'm getting a share of all the money? But everything we do is like fully transparent. We are a community. We are a decentralized charging infra. We are a community-owned charging infrastructure network. That's the ethos of our entire company. So everything we do, all the charger itself has built-in tracking mechanisms. All the records of it, all the billing of it, and all the consumption of the data is all written to chain, and again it's consolidated and then and settled on Solana.
Yeah,
And if they're
that's amazing.
interested, we're also open to open up like the entire data dump of real-time logs. It's just going to be too much data, but we're okay to open it up. We're figuring out how best to open the logs of all of these charges so they can check on it on a monthly basis, on a daily, weekly, whatever basis. But we are looking at ways to
So like,
summarize.
to make sure I follow, just like being able to see every single charge that's been done in one of the selected
Yeah,
charging stations, how long it lasted,
everything,
everything.
everything, right down to the
Yeah,
granular
that's incredible.
level. Yeah, like,
That's incredible, and I think that that's also part of like that insurance, right? Let alone all these clauses and all these mitigations and assets as collateral and that you can bring. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how can I reduce my risk, and I think it comes down to transparency, right? And if me as a community member, I can actually see all the data, then that's it. You know what I mean? Like and I can verify that data, and I know what you guys are telling me is exactly how it's performing with some charges that I funded halfway
yeah,
around the world. I think that's such a great risk
yeah,
mitigation. So it's what got us really excited about how you guys
yeah.
perform. compared to a lot of other EV companies. And I think is where you guys stand out, and you're going to do
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that's also great. You know why? Because when people see it, not just the community, it'll also be good for partners to see it, like the fleet partners or B2B partners to see and say, oh, this is really good utilization and so many people are using it, which means it's really good experience or very high quality. So it's in our best interest to make sure that this kind of data is really available in public. And yeah, like, basically it's to our advantage. So it's going to be like a really transparent, fully open time series stuff, so people can actually go and see uh, on a granular time level as a time series.
You got me excited, man. Project Surya
Let's
and the
go.
high corridor, and you've got the returns, you've got the risk mitigation, transparency, and tracking. 19 charges. So, and you guys, the more I get to know you and speak to you, the more confident I am that you guys are the team to manage these and be able to kind of optimize them as much as possible and keep expanding from it. So, got me personally really excited, man. I'm already an investor in Surya as well, and we'll keep joining in more.
Yeah.
Let's do this, man.
It's awesome. Yeah, I think coming down to the fag end of the session, I think we'll spend like 5 to 7 minutes going through the rest of the question. I think some great question for you guys as well. So I think coming down to three different questions, right? Uh, why is this a groundbreaking opportunity in EV infra and Web3 in general? And as a platform, like you guys have funded like really giant projects, right, from solar and also another EV project in Brazil, right? What are the results that investors seen so far? Like, how do you guys pick the projects, curate all of it? I think, how is it different? Why should they come to ReFi Hub? How is it different from anything else? Like, and what's the response from the community been so far?
You want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So far we've funded a total of 4 projects, including Decharge, and so Decharge is the fourth, and 2 of those projects are already paying yield, and they are based in Brazil. And those particular projects are the solar panels that we funded. So yeah, I mean the response of the community has been great, especially when they start seeing that yield come through. It becomes realistic. I think it's quite surprising to be able to finance an infrastructure project from across the world and suddenly start getting monthly payments in it. It's quite a special moment. So um, yeah, the community response so far has been super good, and the payouts have been super good. We're averaging around 12% average annual yield, and we're just about coming to the first year of running a solar panel, one of the solar panels. So really exciting times. And the good thing about solar panels is that they last for 25 years. So our users are going to be getting those payouts for a very, very long time. With regards to the other EV charging station, the first expected yield is coming out next month. And that was a really good test for us to really see if the community was interested in EV charging stations, and clearly they were, because that one sold out incredibly quickly. It was a much smaller ticket size, which was I think a third of what we're raising with you guys. But yeah, the demand is real. People are excited about this innovative new way of transport.
Yeah,
Jimmy, I don't know if you have anything else to add there.
Love it, man.
Yeah, I think it's there's a lot to it, like on the projects and where we are, 4 funded already, and we're gonna keep climbing. But for us, is this idea of there's so much infrastructure. When you fund infrastructure, you're removing human error from the equation. You're literally getting
Yeah.
assets that are doing the work for you, and being able to tokenize that, capitalize on that in ways that people didn't even consider before, in business models, some of which could seem boring, but at the end of the day, they're like reliable, which is what matters at the end of the day when you're looking for investments and diversifying, such as solar panels. EV charging stations are even more exciting because you got a factor of where are you placing them, how many people are using them, right? But just getting consistent yield in a landscape of DeFi, which is sometimes so blurred out and so grayed out, where you don't know where the money's coming from. And for us, facilitating investments where it's very clear cut that you are funding 19 charging stations in Bangalore with Project Decharge, and that's going to give you the yield of 60% of royalties that generates for the next X amount of years, right? So that for us is really exciting, and I think Project Surya really stands out as well for what we've talked about. You know, like the transparency that you guys are bringing, allowing our investors to actually track the performance of all of that, and also your track record not only in India but now expanding into other countries. And I think as things keep expanding on both our ends, I'd love to see a Decharge ReFi Hub partnership in Thailand, Vietnam, and a lot more. You know, so
In Africa.
I think we're bringing more and more people that want to keep expanding and be part of a decentralized community that are also funding projects that generate some form of impact, electric vehicles and renewable energy. And yeah, our job is really to keep scaling that and make it easy and make it fun and make it engaging and convenient to get involved in those projects and try and do our best to guarantee those results. So yeah, exciting
Yeah.
times for us, and even more exciting now with Project Surya.
Love
Awesome.
it, guys.
Yeah, man. We love providing investments that have a story behind it. You know, people want to invest and then have a story to tell at the same time, right? It's not always just about nice numbers. We love to tie the profit and the impact and story together. So that's exactly what we're doing with Decharge, man. So very exciting
So
times.
true, man. So aligned with this. So aligned with the both of you and what you said. Super pumped. Let's do this.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Awesome.
So we have a
I think there was a few little questions from the community from Twitter. So we should we cover them? I don't know if we've covered them already. Let me just read them out.
yeah. These are on some
Yeah.
YouTube.
What role does fractionalization on Solana play in democratizing access to real world energy assets?
Yeah, I mean,
I,
to me, it's such a
I can take,
go for it.
yeah, I can go after you, Jimmy. It's fine. I can go after you.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting one where, you know, there's so many assets that have a minimum ticket size, not just because of the asset itself, but the permits that you need and the research that needs to be done and so on. And only people that would have, let's say, 50K to invest into that one single project would be able to get involved, right? So now you're fractionalizing and you're doing it on Solana, which is the fastest chain with very cheap and negligible transaction costs. You're able to get involved and invest into Project Surya with $1 if you want, right? So there's not many other ways in which you can directly own a percentage of a charging station in this example with a $1 investment and still get the benefits of all the due diligence and all the research that's been done for that project, which amounts to maybe 150,000, right? And you have your small stake into that. So I think it's really leveling the balance field and lowering the barrier so any opportunity which is economically feasible or attractive is accessible to anyone, regardless of the amount of capital that you have to invest. So, huge benefits that we see, and one of the main reasons. But yeah, love to hear your point of view as well, Mohan.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But I always keep saying, right, whenever I talk to people like partners, friends, community people, like, I keep saying that imagine if you're in early 1900s, right? And if you had a chance to be a part, if you had opportunities to set up a chain of fuel stations, right? Uh, in the early 70s, people would think, oh, will cars be so prevalent as they are today? Yeah, it's a big opportunity. Imagine you had an opportunity to start something like Shell or Exxon in those days, right? You would definitely jump on it. Similar to owning EV charging infra today is very similar to owning is participating in an opportunity that's as big as owning a share in like a fuel station, like a network of fuel stations, even something as
Yeah.
powerful as saying that you own a part of owning the fiber network. Okay, all of these power the future, right? And when we derive from that conversation, the basic thing that Decharge is set out to do is to create this global energy mesh of fractionalized charging infrastructure that becomes the foundation of the energy internet, as we call it. So being everywhere, providing energy to millions of vehicles, whether it is cars, but it's not. So we're only talking about cars today, right? But it could be drones, it could be robots, it could be autonomous vehicles, it could be trucks, it could be buses. There's so many vehicles that require charging. So it's a really, really big opportunity. And now what this fractionalization does is allows anyone, just like you said, and not just institutions, right, to invest in charging infrastructure to
Yeah.
shape the future of energy, right?
Yeah, and to me, the key difference to add there as well is not equity, right? Because equity depends on so many other factors of, how are the shareholders performing, and how's the valuation of the company? Is it publicly traded? How is it valued? So on is fractionalization of the actual asset in itself, right? It's so
Exactly.
clear cut. It's how is that asset performing? I don't need the entire company doing better or worse. It doesn't matter, right? It's how
Yeah.
is that asset performing? Can I own a little bit of it? So.
Yeah, so it's like liquidity, right? Like if you're looking at, it's about turning this infrastructure, the long-term infrastructure, into like flexible and tradable assets, if you look at it. So they become the basis of participation for anyone who has $1 or $100,000 to be a part of this, depending on how much they can contribute, and still become a winner out of a very important aspect. And because we are community powered, we have other community people like co-owning the charges in their neighborhoods and turning infrastructure into like shared economical value, right? So that actually makes a lot of sense. So I think with ReFi Hub, when we are creating this fractionalization, we are really creating a very, very powerful mechanism where Decharge is bringing the infrastructure, the knowledge, the know-how, and the execution of this, while ReFi Hub is becoming the rails on which this kind of runs through, and bringing this financial inclusion to people who participate. So it's, if you ask me, it's like shared prosperity. I think this is like a really, really good project. I'm super excited about it. I've said it like 200 times. I'll say it another 200 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, a few more questions which came in, which kind of we kind of addressed somehow in terms of how are the mechanism we use, the transparent mechanisms, and how do the integration happen. Most of them like very transparent and auditor on chain. Uh, yeah, I think just to add on to all of the points you mentioned, right? Creating access is the big moat in itself that Solana community kind of offers, right? I think there's one wonderful thread that actually kind of tweeted like, what if you could like, how does internet capital markets matter, right? You could support a local coffee shop if we could kind of tokenize his business, right? That itself is like that basic baseline is creating access, right? It's very hard for like a community member to get into the cap table of a company. It's all private round. It's not happening. And getting into asset management, it's even more difficult because all these centralized companies are pressured to deliver returns to the investors, and they're not going to give anything to the community apart from a merge, right? That's what they offer, and the creating access itself is like a paramount. And I think that's where the value add is kind of Solana community kind of offers and playing a really good role in democratization. Yeah. Anything you are close to top end of the hour? We'll round it off like with one question where all of you can go first, and like we can kind of round it off there. So the question that we have is: so if I'm an investor watching this right now, what is the one reason I should to get in today? What is the one reason?
I mean, I'd say Project Surya is the only opportunity right now in Solana to fund, own, and earn from clean energy infrastructure with great returns. It is literally the only way to do it to this day. So keep chasing meme coins, keep chasing
Amen.
yield from different, strange protocols, but you can diversify some of that into the only clean energy infrastructure available right now on Solana.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you could either do it, go down only in like some of the meme coins, like easy, like it's a, everyone sees that happen, and it's like, oh, how did this happen? It's the same story over and over again. There's no,
Yeah.
literally no protection of the retail. There's no transparency. Everyone knows it's like inside a game. We definitely want to flip the tables here, like bring in like mature community folks who understand it, who want to understand it, and have a like a fraction of the future. I think that's what kind of stood out.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah, go for it.
it's building on what Jimmy was saying. Is if you can avoid the trenches, it's very unlikely you'll get out profitable from those meme coin trenches. So this is the it's one of its kind opportunity to own a cash flowing asset, right? A machine that generates, that prints money for you for the next 3 to 5 years. So please get in before the round closes, because we have treasuries interested, we have the cold trap community loading up, and the ticket will get closed soon.
Yeah, From my perspective, guys, I'll repeat the same thing that I've said like 100 times. If you're an investor, the reason to get in is very simple. I've said this before in the beginning. I'll say it again. We've gone from like few tens of charges to about thousands of charges in less than 6 months. We're a very talented team. We're skilled. We know exactly what we're doing. We know where we want to go and where we want to take this whole thing. We're laser focused on growth, and we are not. We there's no. We are a very high signal, low noise kind of team, and we. That's how we work. That's how we function, and that's why we really love working with ReFi as well. From deploying in India, we have now opened up doors in Southeast Asia, in the US, and we are growing really fast with really great partnerships as well. Now, I genuinely believe that this is a chance for investors and to get in at the moment that the Decharge network is going from proof of concept to a phase of unstoppable growth. I would say that, right? This is probably, in 5 6 years time, when you look back, and we will think that, oh, this was the inflection point where the future of mobility and energy was actually is now being put back into people's hands. And now the question is, if you want to just be on the sidelines and watch it, or just want to be a part of this whole thing, is entirely up to you. But man, I wouldn't miss this at all.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
It's
go.
electric capital markets, baby.
Bullish.
Electric capital market, man.
Yeah,
Again, shout out to you guys. You guys have been amazing. ReFi Hub, entire community. So pumped to work with you guys. Like, you guys are
Thank you, man.
super awesome in everything. Like the quality, the way you guys work, the way you guys like. It's amazing. We are so thrilled that we're working with you, and it's like heart to heart, man. Seriously,
Been a
yeah,
blessing, brothers.
Thank you so
First of
much, man.
many projects.
yeah.
first
And
of
shout
many.
out to the marketing efforts too. I think our team had a blast. All the media content. Oh
Yes.
man, like all the graphics, everything we cannot keep up somehow. Like the level of efforts that starts goes to Twitter threads, the graphics. It's always a killer. Like shout out to the entire team. Our team was just excited to work with you guys continuously, and most of it is like organic, right? Uh, Barely done any
Yeah.
kind of unsolicited shilling and all of it, and I think kind of organic growth the community just kind of come together is like really amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see, man. Well, yeah, man, what a beautiful way to round
Yeah,
this all up. Thank you so much
yeah,
for joining this conversation. I hope the community enjoyed it. I think we have clarified a lot of the information. It's been
yeah,
epic. So thank you so much,
hundred
guys.
percent.
Thank
Thank
you
you
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah, just to
Appreciate it.
round off, yeah, I think we have chatted enough about us. Like, what's next for ReFi Hub? Like outside of this, after Project Surya, I know we leaked a lot of alpha in terms of what could be the other stations around the world. But aside from that, what are you guys looking into? What are you excited about? What's excites you about this month, next month, and so on?
For us, I think the biggest thing that's creeping and just about to be released, it's a bit of alpha, but it's investment pools. So we got recently secured another Solana grant, officially backed by Solana Foundation, in order to build investment pools, which means bringing liquidity to real world asset infrastructure and allowing people to deposit and withdraw from yield generated by infrastructure anytime, anywhere. And I think that to me has got me really exciting. It opens the doors to so many asset types and so many forms of yield, which can be used in DeFi ecosystems, but with complete liquidity. So we're building everything from the ground up for that, with the help of Solana Foundation and a huge team that we have behind us. So I think once that comes out the door and people are really able to start earning yield in a liquid way from a range of assets across different industries, across different verticals, that's going to be huge as well. So yeah, really excited to be working on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only thing that would kind of put that a bit on the sideline is the Project Surya one. It's got us equally excited.
Awesome, awesome, man. Yeah, the great alpha drop at the end of.
And
Yeah,
for me, it's the opening the access to even a wider market, which is Web 2. I think sometimes we get caught up in our own little Web 3 bubble, and we forget that there's so many people out there that would be fascinated about the owning a real world asset like Project Surya. And currently we're very limited to open that up to the world. So that's something I'm going to be pushing very hard the next few months to get cooking, so we can really provide full access to this electric capital market. for the whole world. That's
Love it.
what's coming next.
Love it.
Fantastic.
Love it. Love it, man.
Yeah, I think, yeah, to round off from our side as well, I think this is a great opportunity. It's just the starting point of a lot of more things to come from our side. We also have a lot of ton of global events. We have the Lunch and Learn event happening in Maryland in the next week or so. That's like a global event. We had like one of our partners working with Stand with Crypto in DC. They organized like one of the biggest events that happening in Baltimore. That was like a standard presence as well. And moving further, we'll also be at Singapore for Ignition Season 4. I'll also like entirety of Token 49 and Apex Solana Apex events as well. So we have like a
Nice.
larger presence there. Hoping to see some of the community members there, and as well as ReFi Hub friends as well.
Awesome, man.
Really, we'll see us out.
Yeah.
All right,
Beautiful.
guys.
Yep.
Big love.
It's been a great one, guys.
Yep. See you guys.
Thanks,
I'll see you
guys.
in the marketing chat.
See you in the chat. Yeah.
See you guys. See
Sorry
you in
about
the
my choppy signal, but I hope we were able to chat.
Yeah.
That was
Some
good.
effort was done. Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for your time, everyone. Really
All right.
appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. And yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for listening as well.